Hello and good morning.
Good morning.
It is a very cold day out there. Don't put that on social media, by the way, because no one's going to want to move here. So my name is Rachel. I own Urso Real Estate. I know some of you in the room. I've just met a few of you, and it's lovely to meet you all and have you here. I am from New York and Connecticut. I've lived in Charleston for 9 years. And I'm going to tell you about a big ballsy move that I did when I came here before I sold one piece of real estate here. I was a former stockbroker way back when in Atlanta, Georgia. I was a publicist in New York City for 20 years. I worked for Conway as a fashion retail director of Brides magazine with 5.5 million in readership. I was a television producer. I was on radio. I have been on television. I've been on CNN, The Today Show, HGTV, The Early Show, as a market and trend forecaster. I took my finance background and my marketing background, wrapped it into one big fat ball of yumminess, and turned it into Rachel Urso Real Estate. How did I get into real estate with all of that? Well, for the 20 years that I was doing that, in New York, Connecticut, Houston, and Atlanta, I was a real estate investor. So I would dabble. I also owned 2 brick and mortar stores. I love to merchandise, I love to buy, I love to sell things, I love to close on things. So when I did all of this and I was closing properties for myself and building properties, I built spec homes, I built them semi-custom, I built them custom, and I flipped them. My average price when I started was $250,000, and my cap before I started real estate for everybody else, was about $3 million. So I was very fortunate that I was probably 26 years old and became a self-made millionaire. I don't brag about this, I don't talk about my money, but since you're all here and we're trying to pitch you as to where we were and how we got here and what we do today, and how we can continue to succeed, I will tell you there's like 2 to 3 things that wakes me up happy and puts me to bed happy. Well, one is family and friends. Obviously health, because if you don't have health and credit, I always say you don't have anything. So focus on friends and family, health and happiness, and your credit. And then ask yourself, what are the things I like to do? And then put yourself in a career of the things you love to do. Well, I love to market. I love to make money. I love to make others money. I love to advise. I love to counsel. I love designing and building. So I own Rachel Urso Real Estate, and I also own Rachel Properties LLC, where I'm buying my first commercial building, literally right now on Coleman. If y'all know it, it's that building that's sitting stagnant, meadow blue lighting. Does anyone know it? Okay, so watch it, beautify. I love beautifying the town. I'm so excited about it. And I took all of that real estate love and passion and started with my partner Wesley, Coast Design and Build. So I also design, renovate, gut, and build homes and commercial properties. So that's a lot. So I've been working since I'm 14 years old, and no one's ever handed me anything, not even a dime. And everything that I've done and I've earned and worked up to, I cashed it or dashed it. 0 credit issues, 0 liabilities, 0 partners. I'm a sole proprietor, single member LLC, and I am so proud of that. When they say hashtag girl power, and I think for men too, I have a son, pre-med in Boulder. I'm not about, and I'm going to go on a tangent for a second. Sorry, I'm talking so long. I can talk. New York publicist. When that hashtag Me Too movement came out, this gets a little political. I'm all about it, and I feel for women. In my own family, for myself as a former stockbroker with 300 men in Atlanta, smoking cigars on the golf course way back in my early 20s, it was fun, but it was very dangerous, it was very scary, and it was very disrespectful at times. We didn't have that back then. I wouldn't have sued anyone back then because I was a big girl and I made my own decisions and I'm a strong woman, and I decided to go play golf with these guys. I decided to go to that bar with those guys. I smoked a cigar with those guys. That's me. I still believe and feel for others in my family that have gone through major traumatic moments in girl power. But in politics, I'm not red or blue, and I'm Me Too for men and women. So while I say girl power, I say power to all the men in here, because my son is amazing, and he is kind, and he is loving, and he is so giving, and he's a good man. The men I'm sitting up here with and the men that I'm seeing here are good men. I just went totally on a tangent because I think that when we say girl power, it's cool, but I say power to all of you in this room, because it takes a lot for any one of us, male or female, to wake up every day and battle anxieties, skeletons, family and friend members that are maybe for you or against you, for you to get up every day and do what you love. So my success in real estate has come from a lot. It's come from being a 9/11 survivor in New York. It's come from going to Haiti during the earthquakes and becoming this humanitarian that was rescued on a C-130 during the final earthquake, and seeing a lot of trauma in my life. So I said, I'm not going to go to sleep and pull the covers over my head. I'm going to get up every single day and know all the things that I've witnessed in my life, and I'm going to fight for myself through any anxiety, through any post-traumatic stress disorder, and I'm going to work my butt off, and I'm going to make it on my own. And that is how I became successful in the real estate world. Thank you, and I didn't mean to go on and on, but ask me a question and I will.
That's totally awesome. Please, yeah, I didn't know you smoked cigars, and I do too.
Those are the 90s, I'm old.
Well, that's tough to follow. My story is not nearly as exciting as that. I grew up in Charleston. My aunt and uncle worked for. Is this working? Can y'all hear? Okay, good. My aunt and uncle worked for Ann Green Real Estate back in the 80s. My father was a developer. Yeah, there you go. Better?
Yes.
All right. My father was a developer. He helped develop Stiles Point Plantation and Seaside Plantation over on James Island, as well as.
It's working.
No, it's working.
Okay. All right. Sound feedback to me. As well as doing some work on Patriots Point. So I grew up in the real estate world, so obviously I had no interest in it as a young child. And even going in after college, I moved back to Charleston and worked in theater and film for about 20 years, running my own production companies. And then obviously working in the entertainment industry, I had a job working as a bartender. So that's what I did until my mother, Jan Snook, said, "You're done doing that. It's time for you to get a real job." I was about 30 at the time, and I was resistant as hell to that, but she encouraged me, and she got me started in real estate in 2007 and 2008. So that was fun. I got to go through that experience, which, cut your teeth on it and learn the tough way, which I enjoyed, and I did. And I worked for Jan for about 5 years doing that until I went up and worked for Flowertown Players in Somerville as an artistic director for 5 years. And then I decided to get back into real estate because I got a family, and you can't have a family on a theater wage. So I got back into real estate in 2020. Which was, once again, another great time to get back into real estate. So I've been working with Jan. I am her, I still do some production, but predominantly at this time I do coaching and training and accountability for our team. So that's what I do.
Yeah, please.
His mother, Jan, does anybody know her? Yeah, she's a rock star. She's the nicest lady I've ever met in my life. Before I could open my firm, I had to hang my license at another firm for 2 years, and I did that at Keller Williams in Mount Pleasant. She is one of the very first agents that walked up to me, spoke with me, and patted me on the back and told me, "You're going to do great things." I love your mom.
Thank you. She is awesome. No, that's great. And you can't make a living or raise a family on a theater wage.
It's really, yeah.
I know. It's Christina in the back, who is my daughter, who checked everyone in, is a professional ballerina. And while it's great to follow your passion, probably the wages aren't going to make you wealthy every day. So, next question, and it's piggybacking on this one, and I want to go in depth with each question, right? Kind of a spiral, if you will. So many people get into real estate, and they say, I'm 10 years in real estate, but really they're reliving their first year 10 times over. You guys have not. You guys have built careers and continue to escalate. What was the turning point, the catalyst, where you said, I'm going to make a career out of this. I'm not just going to follow the next lead, the next transaction. I'm going to do something different.
If you listen to your client and you know why they're selling, did someone pass away? Is there a corporate reload? Is there a divorce happening? Is a child ill? Or they're just ready to retire an empty nest and go off to their next best chapter. And I always call it the next best chapter. When you're speaking to your client, it's always fun to say, I'm so excited to help you. Let's go live your next best chapter. You want to make it fun for them. You want to give them energy. You want to be there for them as if it is your best friend or your mother or your sister or your brother or your father. You have to put yourselves in their shoes. Love on your client like their family, as long as they don't drive you too nuts. No, even if they drive you nuts, you're there, and you're involved. And if you don't care for your client, or you don't care for their story, or you're rubbed the wrong way, there's only one time in $200 million in sales that I've done here. I think it's almost 200 million. Yeah. So, thank you. I think it's like, because my average, just so you know, is 3.8 million. I'm not high volume, so I think it was like 350 transactions. But I would say this. There's one time only that I cut a client off, and that was because he was very, very vulgar. He would not communicate at all. He was super rude, and I said, listen, this is the third strike, you're out. I'm sorry, but I know my value, and I'm setting boundaries. I have to be with you not only to sell your property and find your property, but I have to be attached to you for 30, 60, 90, maybe 120 days. And I can't let this drain me every day and downward spiral me, because I'm onward and upward always. From the towers crashing of 9/11, from the plane taking me out of Haiti, to taking my kids through college, to all the things I do in life, I always want to go onward and upward. I want to go to bed, like I said, happy. I want to wake up excited. And you cannot do that if something or someone is bogging you down. I always say, your tribe is your vibe. Your people are your supporters. I am no one, Rachel Urso of Rachel Urso Real Estate, without my team and their efforts and their excitement, enthusiasm, and support. So for me, I would say, know who you're working with, be comfortable with who you're working with, love on who you're working with, and be able to tell their story to the other side. I always say this in our meetings, and they'll vouch for me, I think. I say, it is our ethical duty and obligation to work for our client. But while we're working for our client and ourselves and our firm, I believe that you should be fair to the other side. You should be kind and professional to that agent. You should be kind and professional to that other family or that other person selling their home. And when your clients are going downhill, which most will do, because it's greed and money, and every penny cannot be, taken away from them, and they don't leave any money on the table, which we gather, because we always try to buy low and sell high, and do the right thing by your client. When they start downward spiraling and they say, oh, I don't like this buyer, I hope they go away, I don't like what they're saying, or feel like, I say, we don't work that way. Here's the deal. The agent is professional, has only been professional and kind, and I met the family, and they're absolutely lovely, and you can't read text tone or email tone, but I've spoken to them, you have not. I have shaken their hand or looked them in the eye, you have not, because I am the liaison between agent and agent, work with buyer and seller. We try not to ever make them meet, right? So they don't know the other side. So it's our job to be their emotional support, their therapist, and tell them it's okay. Breathe. They love your home. They're buying your home. They think you decorated it really nicely. They love everything you did here. They're nice people. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna regroup and rethink about how we're going to come at this. And we're gonna think about it like they're really lovely people. And just like you, if you were on their side buying that property, while they're selling that property, think if you were in their shoes, you would also say, I gave this to them at a good price. I'm giving them a credit concession for repairs. I'm working with them through a lease back or a rent forward or whatever you're doing, whatever negotiations you're working on, and you're going to explain that whatever's fair. I learned this at Morgan Stanley Dean Witter. I'm this old, I was there at Dean Witter when Morgan Stanley walked in and announced the merger in '95, Morgan Stanley Dean Witter. So they told me, and they taught me well at this probing course, always say to your clients or anyone trying to make a deal, I'm on your side, but I want to do whatever's fair on both sides, so whatever's fair. No one can ever fault you for saying whatever's fair. You're a fair, reasonable, honest professional. And I think if you stick with your roots and your boundaries, and you do what you love, and to go back to answer that question, see, I'm a squirrel. I'm getting a t-shirt with a squirrel on it. But I hope this helps some of you. In anything that you do, when I say kindness matters, I don't just put that out there on social media because, oh, I might get a like with that hashtag or I might get a follow. I don't really care. You know, we have a great following. Great job. I don't really care. I don't care if you have red bottom Christian Louboutins. I've got them. I don't care if you're wearing rubber Javianos. I've got them. I don't care if you're Range Rovers. I had them. I don't care if you drive a Pinto from 1970. Don't care. That's cool. It doesn't matter who you are, where you live, what your demographic is, what your targeted audience is, what you have in the bank, what you don't have in the bank. There are times where I've had millions in the bank and I had negative $250 in the bank. And guess what? There are times where I had companies and LLCs that failed, and there are companies that I've had LLCs and they won. It doesn't matter. The thing that would matter is with whatever you're doing, and hopefully here in real estate, that you don't give up. Don't let the clients bring you down. Don't let the deal that fell apart bring you down. Don't let the fact that you just worked 97 days with these clients and they decided to go in a different direction or not move here. Don't let that bring you down. Because that sale for that $1 million house or that $300,000 house or that $4 million house pays you a nice commission, and that money goes to your annual income, right? And that covers all those days you had to work. We don't have to go to a job from 7 to 7. We don't have to go out in the cold and do hardcore construction right now. We don't have to go fight the war in Iraq right now. We are so blessed to be in the most beautiful city, this low country, the place where everyone is flocking to. We are in a bubble. There is no bubble for recession or depression. But if anyone's in a bubble, it's Charleston. And people are still flocking here, and people are still flipping here, and you will always be able to do anything. AI is coming up like mad. It is so unfortunate. Realtor.com, Zillow.com, Homes.com, Redfin, they're all trying to make their realtors FSBOs. Don't worry about it. These aren't my competitors that are in here. These are my peers. These are people I want to know and love on. These are people I want to do good business with. So all I'm going to tell you is no matter what you do, hold your head up high. So real estate, it made sense. I love design. I love construction. I love people. I love closings. I love negotiations. I love education. I love travel. I love food, sip and shop, meet and greet, all of it. Combined, that's one badass real estate world. It's perfect. So I am so blessed that I go to bed happy and I wake up happy and I can't wait to do it again. And that's how I did it.
You just decided. So JC, you're
Remind
right.
me on the question again?
So the question, when you kind of came, it sounds like you kind of came kicking and screaming into real estate a little bit, like I don't want to do it. What was the catalyst, the moment where you decided this is going to be a career and I'm going to make something of it, rather than just I'm going to do it for a while?
Yeah. So obviously the first time I did it from 2008 to about 2013, 2014, it was not a career to me. It was something I was doing to make money while I was pursuing my career, which was film and theater. I liked it because it was flexible. I liked it because, you know, I could operate from wherever and just kind of do it. So it was not, I did not have the career mindset of it. To me, it was just another way to make money. when I got the opportunity to deep dive into the professional theater world when I was working as the artistic director of Flowertown Players, that was what I thought, that's what I had gone to school for. That's what I thought, that was my career. And being involved in a small theater, it's like being involved in any small group where there's a lot of politics, there's a lot of dynamics. Think if any of you go attend church or involved in a nonprofit. Joe knows what I'm talking about because Joe and I met while I was working at Flowertown. It's a lot, and it's not always about the art. It's a lot of it is about the politics and handling the personalities. So I lost my love for the thing that I thought I was supposed to be doing for the rest of my life. And that's kind of a hard thing. And I thought, well, what else did I enjoy doing that I have done in the past? Bartending was fun, but as part of my life journey, I was no longer drinking, so I wasn't going to go back and do bartending. So I talked to my mother and I said, I think I might come back and do real estate. She said, great, it's different now. And it was vastly different. When I left Jan to go do theater, it was just her and I. There was two of us. When I came back, she had already started her team. There was now 8 of them working together. And so me jumping into a team was actually what I felt like I needed to do. Because that's what I was used to. I was used to working in collaborative fields. Theater is a very collaborative field. I was used to working with other people to help do great things. And so coming back and being part of a team really is what got me excited about real estate, because now in the position I'm at, I get to watch the other agents, the new agents, especially the young agents, their discovery of that, oh my God, this works. I want to do this. I want to do this for the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years of my life. And while you don't have to in real estate, if you're good at it, you can retire after about 10, 15 years. But most people don't, because they enjoy doing it and they love doing it. And it becomes a part of their life. And that's what I get to watch. And whether it's the first commission check that they get in their hand and they go, oh my God, I did this. Or, getting that really, really tough deal done and they go, that was the hardest thing I have ever done. And it's like, yes, but you did it. You accomplished it. And you will get to have those feelings again and again every time you help a client. We've got a board up on the room and we say, look, if you accomplish this goal, you will not have to do this. And on our yearly goal, it's if you do these many transactions, you only have to work one job. And that one job is your real estate. Because so many of our newer agents, and we do like to help develop agents, that's something that is very important to Jan, is developing agents. So we bring in a lot of agents who are either just licensed or maybe have had their license for a year, and they haven't had success, and they are frustrated. And to see that turn around for them is just an amazing thing. And they're getting that same joy by helping their clients. And really, that's what it comes back to. It's all about the people that you help. This is a service industry. We are serving those people who choose to work with us. And that is a wonderful, blessed thing for us to be able to do. And that's what holds me into it. And it's the agents and it's the clients that they serve.
Thanks. Yeah,
Can I say something on that? First of all, like you said, it is so rewarding to help people, and it's totally service. But on another note, I remember you saying you started in 2008. Wasn't that the recession?
Oh yeah.
Oh, how fun was that to start during a recession?
So the first bit of advice I got, not from Jan, this was from somebody else. They said, oh, you're starting in real estate, it's 2008. You need to buy 5 houses so that you can have houses to sell. Which was what everybody, who here was working in 2008, right? That's what, that was kind of the way you did business. You would buy new construction and then you would put it on the market and sell it. I did not do that, thank God, because that's how we got to kind of where we were and why we saw so many agents get out of the business at that point in time. Fortunately, I was working for Jan, and she had been in the industry for about 10 years at that point in time, and she said, no, we're going to do this. We're going to focus on doing short sales and bank owned. Yep. And so that's really what we did. We got very good at helping people really go through really trying times. And that's what we got.
while we're talking about foreclosures and short sales, I want to say something. So if and when we have a recession, not if, when we have another recession, even during a depression, we'll lose all the part-time realtors and all the full-time or serious realtors that still want to stay in it, and know that that will happen for a year to 5 years to make a comeback. I will tell you, it's not exciting to be like, okay, I'm going to take the short sales and the foreclosures. But what he said was, it's rewarding to service them and help them. Because the faster you get them sold, the faster they get out, they don't get foreclosed on. They don't have to go through a short sale. You're saving families. So think about it like a blessing at that time. So save some of your money now, because everything comes full circle, and we are off the charts, lost middle class America, rates went nuts, elections happened, and we will eventually, we're on a slow correction now. I don't know if anyone's feeling it, but we are in a slow correction now. It was such a crazy seller's market. Is it okay that I talk about this for a minute? It was a crazy seller's market. I had some, and I will leave them nameless forever because that's not who I am, and I will work with them professionally and hope to close deals with them in the future regardless. There were some crazy, crazy transactions going on where they're like, yep, I'll take your firstborn, your pony, your car, your house, and I'll give you this much for it. It was nuts. I remember those people. I have little notes in my contacts. I remember, oh yeah, she gave me an 11:59 p.m. deadline to ratify. The doctor had surgery at 6 a.m. I wanted to take a muscle relaxer for my back. I pulled out and told her about it. She never responded until the next day and asked me why I texted her 4 times to get it ratified last night on her 11:59 expiration. Doctor stayed up till midnight. I didn't take a muscle relaxer that night. We all waited for her till the next day. We offered a full ask on a property that was on for 250 days. And she's yelling at me, why did I text her? So she asked, why can't we just ratify now? I go, sorry, I advised my client to take your next door neighbor and you lost the deal, and it's unfortunate. But anyway, the point is, we try to do good business. When this happens, and it will happen, don't be afraid. You may need to work a day job, you need to mow light at the bartending job, that's fine. Or buy low and become a landlord and rent it and then sell when the market's high again. I'm a former stockbroker. I buy low and sell high all day long. I've invested millions in multi-million-dollar properties. I'm doing it right now with a building on Coleman, with a home in the Old Village, Old Mount Pleasant, and another home in Old Mount Pleasant. Land in Georgia I'm about to develop on to flip out for multi-million. Like, here's what I say. It takes money to make money. It takes a lot of money to make a lot of money. It's going to take time for you to grow that way, and it's all very risky and scary. But without risk, there's no reward. Without great risk, there's no great reward. So don't be afraid to take a risk. Now, don't go and not be able to pay your mortgage or your rent, and buy food or diapers. But if you get to a point where you can save up some money and reinvest for yourself, that's a good thing. I'm giving the mic back, but I want you to know again, when we do make a correction, and we will, know that you're going to go and help people. They're going to have to sell. There will be properties to sell. You'll just have to sell it on the down loan for way lower than you ever thought you'd have to sell this home. It's unfortunate and sad, but you saved a family's life.
And that's what we're in it for, to help and save families. Here's what I heard from both of you, and I think this is good to bring out, just to cement an idea. What I heard from both is, everyone says follow your passion, right? That's the buzzword on social media, follow your passion. But what I heard from you two is find your passion and incorporate it into what you're doing. But find your passion and incorporate it, because it sets you apart. It does. Okay.
This is a simple job to do, but it's not easy. It is a really hard job. And if you don't find something about it that you love, then you're gonna. How many agents are there in the Charleston area? 6,000. Somewhere between like 6,000 and 8,000, I think.
8,000 last year, dropped down to 7,000 this year after NAR and CTAR.
Yeah. So of that, how many of the agents actually sell? I think like 80% of, or involved in 80% of the transactions in the Charleston area. Like 10%. 10%. So that means when we do correct, or if we do enter in another recession, it's going to be those 10% that grab a huge part of the market share. Make sure that that's where your love is, so that when things get really hard, that love, that passion that you have for it can make sure that you're part of that 10%, so that you can survive, because you've got to work. It's hard to do, but it's simple, right? I pick up the phone, I talk to people, I show them houses, I write a good contract, I make them feel good about it. We close. I say, send me your friends, your family. Let's do it again. That's it.
Okay, you just brought up my next question, and I'm gonna ask that we move a little quicker on this question, only because it's important.
Don't talk too much.
No,
As far as we're getting-
this is everyone finding this super valuable? These guys are great. These guys are awesome. So, because I want to save time for questions from everyone here, and we also want to end on time, to respect everyone's time. So, you brought it up, JC. What is everyone says the foundation of this business is our sphere of influence and past clients, right? Sphere of influence, past clients, that's where the base is, and then marketing goes beyond that. So I want to ask two questions. I'm going to get to marketing, but first, what's your system for following up with and getting referrals from past clients in your sphere of influence? No.
Okay, so we, Snook and Associates, we have a cheat code. We are one of the Zillow Flex teams here in the Charleston area. There are 5 of us. So our main source is Zillow. That makes up about 80% of most of our agents' transactions. All right? And we know that they're transacting at about a 10% rate. For every 10 leads that our one agent gets, that they're converting at least 1, sometimes 2 of those. So that's
good.
It is good. It is. So that's really what starts our agents on their path to success. But it does come into the follow-up and the referrals, because it's Zillow. We have to pay for it. They owe for the first 2 transactions of that client, but everything after that is free. So we really have to instill in our agents the follow-up that's necessary, and a lot of that comes through our CRM. We use Follow Up Boss. That CRM really makes it easy for our agents to follow up on a regular basis. Any active client that they have to follow up with them every 7 days. Anything that's in a nurture, then they have to follow up at least once every 30 days. We have automated outreaches, email blasts, stuff like that go up that are programmed by our admin. So it's an overall system that allows the follow-up to happen. The second part of that is the accountability. And that's kind of where I come in. I meet with our agents once every other week, and I make sure that they're following up with the people that they need to follow up with. And if they don't, then I smack them in the back of the head. I told you, it's simple, not easy, right? But seriously, it is about that accountability. I think that's the hardest thing. One of the hardest things in real estate is accountability. And that's what keeps you doing your job on a regular basis, even when it's hard. And when I say when it's hard, when it doesn't feel like it's accomplishing anything, when it's not actually getting anywhere. That's what makes it hard, and that's why you have to have somebody there to help you with the accountability, saying, no, pick up the phone, take that 2 hours this morning, make your calls, make sure you're connecting with those people who you have helped in the past so that they can help you in the future.
Love that.
I'll try and make it short. I always tell everyone in my transactions and marketing and finance and anything I do, and it's true, as you can tell here today, I am fully transparent. Nothing to hide, nothing I won't say, nothing I won't share, nothing I'm embarrassed about, nothing I won't brag about, because I've worked my butt off since I'm 14. I will tell you this. I want to say, and Tori, correct me if I'm wrong, probably 85% of my business is all repeat business and referral. Repeat and referral. 85 repeat and referral. I'd say about 5% to 10% is networking. Wherever I am, I'll talk to anybody. And here's a fun thing. I'm not talking to you sitting in halls, having my espresso martini, relaxing after a closing. I'm not talking to you because I see a dollar sign sitting here and I can have your business. I'm genuinely talking about the industry because I can't stop talking about the industry. I love it. I'm talking about my closing, I'm talking about the house I'm building, I'm talking about the wallpaper I just put in a new client's renovation. I'm just talking to people, and I get a lot of business that way. If you're at home, in your pajamas, part-time, not thinking real estate, not eating real estate, not breathing real estate, and you're just hoping that it's gonna fall in your lap, and you're gonna meet one person next door, and they're gonna give you a lead, and that's it, this is not the industry for you. So I am referral and repeat. I am networking. I am marketing. And then I am a little bit of walk-ins because we've been on King Street for many years. I want to say how I get this and what I do is I work really hard for my client. I don't leave any money on the table, and with them I buy low and sell high. William Pelusi, if you're watching, one of my clients, he's proud to say this. In the last 6 years, I did a livable flip situation with he and his family. One time in Isle of Palms, before they even finished opening up their boxes, I said, uh-oh, I found you a buyer, and don't unpack, because I'll find you that off-market house down the road at a good deal, and we did it. So with their transactions, the other day at Christmas time at our party, I said, I think we're up to making you like 1.5 million, Bill. He goes, no, Rachel, you've made me over $4 million. I am super proud of that. So that's in a luxury client who's buying anything. I think his first property was 1.5 and his last property was like 4 million. So he made 4 million on the buy and sell side with me being dual agent. I believe my stats are that I'm 51% both sides, or maybe right now I'm probably like 40% both sides dual agent. So I buy and I sell because of our marketing, because of my networking. I'm always talking about my listings. I'm always marketing them well. We have videography, like it's HGTV. We have Reels, we have Instagram, Facebook, we have it all. It's plugged, our team plugs it. I think combined with my team and my own following, we have 100,000 followers. We take that, we ask everyone to tag and share the love and spread the love, and people do, and thank you. We have beautiful photography because we go in and we help them either restage, move out and stage, or soft stage and organize. We'll suggest a pod or a storage facility. We'll go in there and get it ready to look like a model home. So when we go to sell it, it looks beautiful. So I think people see that online too, on social media, and they call us from that. Once in a while on what I call my grandma Facebook, because I'm not allowed to get on our Instagram, they'll see me put a story on and they'll be like, we know that was you, stop doing that. And I'm like, okay, but my daughter played volleyball. So once in a while, I'll just do a simple shout out. I don't even have to put a picture, although eye candy appeal as a former publicist, I will tell you, if you put an eye candy picture, it grabs the attention. You put a catch line out there, it grabs the attention. You then put 1 or 2 to 3 sentences below about what you're talking about, and done. If you just write a whole book and you have no picture or not an attractive picture, no one's gonna read it, okay? If you grab someone's attention and you have that catch line there, it's simple. If you're not buying or selling in the state of South Carolina and Georgia, in which I'm licensed and I'd like to help you, then I can hold the hand worldwide to a referring agent. Full transparency, I'm gonna take 30% of their commission, but I'm gonna make sure they don't leave any money on the table in Mississippi or in France. I can help them and I can help you. And guess what? Each time I do that, oh, you did so well. My daughter's moving here. I'm going to refer you to my daughter. Oh, you did so well. My family's moving from one house in Connecticut to another house in Connecticut. I'm going to let you be their referring agent. So if you're constantly talking about it and asking for it, here's the thing. Don't be afraid to ask for the order. Don't be afraid to ask for more money when you go to submit an offer. It's okay. You're not lowballing if you're putting in a low offer. You're not asking too much if you're selling and you're asking for the moon and the stars. You have to ask so you have no regrets and you leave no money. And then just let the other side know, I'm happy to negotiate. I like ping pong. I'll negotiate with you all day long to make sure it's a fair deal on both sides. But everybody wins. So I take, I guess, award-winning skills, and recognition and marketing, and I allow that to speak for itself, and I'm not afraid to ask someone.
Yeah, and you're not afraid to ask. And that's the biggest thing I take away from that is A, accountability, and B, be bold. We're in an industry that requires us to be bold. Be bold, ask. And I know this isn't me talking, but this is, when I first got into business, this is way back when, 2001, and I had a buddy in the industry, in the office, who went through a toll booth, handed his card to the toll guy and said, hey, if you know any friends, family, or coworkers that need to buy or sell or even refinance real estate, I'm your guy, here's my card. 5 transactions later in the next 6 months from toll guys. Because he wasn't afraid to stop and ask. So accountability is also the biggest thing. On the part of accountability, so and growth, and there's so many questions I'm not going to get to, and I hate that, but I'm trying to get the ones that I hear most often, and I think you guys probably do too. That is, we get to a certain point, and I know many in this room are probably at that point where you want to grow. Sorry about that. You want to grow, and you feel like with whatever your limit is right now, 3 or 5 or 2 transactions going at the same time, the wheels are starting to wobble and about to come off the whole cart, right? You know you need to hire someone, but then there's money out, and you don't know if you can. What's the first hire that everyone should have if they want to start building out their team and raise it to the next level? Simple.
First, yourself. Hold yourself accountable to be able to wear all the hats and show your client that you're going to fully hold their hand, and from start to fruition, you are involved and you are there. Secondly, Tori Metz, my director of operations, you can't have her, sorry. You got to have someone that's there to support you, that's involved, that's ready when you're busy. I mean, poor Tori, I blow up her phone nonstop. We're in meetings nonstop. We're doing transaction showings, opening doors, having conferences, having events. We're busy. And team members that help out, like Stephanie, a new young agent, who's been with us for a little bit now and who's doing well already, so congratulations. I would say the accountability aspect again, having your support system, but being organized. I am non-diagnosed, but I should be, OCD. I like everything in its place. I don't want to crumb anywhere. I want my home to look like a model home, my office to look like a model home, and that's how I roll. And it annoys some people, and other people love it. Same thing with my books and records. You have to stay organized and focused. You have to know who your client is, who you're working with, who your next prospect is, when they're coming in town. Don't forget they're coming in town. Touch base with them multiple times before they get to town. Send links before they get to town. Narrow it down before they get to town. And when they get to town, have a fun day planned. We're meeting for coffee. We're going to these 3 in Somerville. Then we're going to stop for lunch, and then we're going to Mount Pleasant. Then I'm going to show you South Broad. And just have this whole great day lined up, and make sure you have it geographically lined up and timed well so they know that you're professional and know how to get into the houses. And if you have trouble getting into houses, what's your backup? Sentry Lock's not working because no good cell service. Or there's battery dead. What do I do? Do I panic and make them stand in the rain and wait? No. Go in your car, relax. I'm going to get a 1-day contractor code, find out if the back door's unlocked or if they're nearby, or we're just going to go get another sip of coffee and come right back because they're on their way. Or please don't break in their house. Don't get arrested. But just always be able to have yourself organized. I go in with my files of my 10 showings, and they're in order, and they have big, bright sticky notes with marker that says 10:15 to 11, this property, here's the agent's name, here's what we talked about, here's the code, here's the cell number if there's a problem. And then there's the MLS listing, and there's their property disclosure. And they're all stacked in order. And then I have a slip between it that says coffee, then a slip between it that says lunch. And I try to stick to that. And I make sure I give myself enough time on showing times that's wide enough that if they're taking too long at one house, a little bit short at the next house, but I get in there and I don't mess it up where I'm a no-show or I'm like frazzled in front of my client. So I think if you are your person to be able to handle everything and then have your support to help you out, that is how you'll succeed. If you think you're just going to wake up and have somebody else do it all, you're mistaken. If you think you're going to do this part-time and you have great success, you're mistaken. This is a full-time gig if you want to make full-time dollars.
That's awesome. JC, I want to hear from you too, but real quick, what I heard was be organized, but really the first hire, whether it's joining a team to get this or hiring your own to get this, is someone to do the, can I say back office stuff?
Yes.
So that you have more time to develop relationships and go deeper on relationships.
Yes,
Would that
yes.
be fair?
Yes.
Meaning like Tori will help me write a contract real quick, which some of you will have transaction coordinators in office. We don't. We believe we're a full service boutique and that's what we do. But Tori's my right hand, so I'll say, okay, I'm at the showing right now and I'm about to go here and I'm about to put an offer on this. Before we do the offer at 1 o'clock, can you go at 12 o'clock right now and can you send the attorneys all the ratified contracts for 547 Main Street? Then can you show me what's going on social later today? And can we talk about the event later? And oh, by the way, I know our agent needs this. So we juggle all day long, every day, and it's just this cycle that we do. And it flows and it works because you need to have people on your team or working for you or with you that is your partner that you respect and they respect you. You understand one another. You have to have great chemistry and you have to trust them. The number one thing in this entire business or anything you do is trust. If you don't trust your client, the buyer, the seller, the other agent, your team, whomever, it's never going to work out.
I agree. JC?
So first off, make sure you're running your business like a business. And by that, I mean if you are an individual agent and you don't have your business set up as an LLC, do that first, right? Make sure that you are paying yourself out of your LLC first. Second, if you really are interested in scaling, is what we've called it in the past, but growing, building a team around yourself, read the book Traction. Right, that is a fantastic book about scaling. It's part of the EOS series, and it's an entire series about how to grow and scale your business, whether it's an industrial business or a commercial business or real estate. A lot of it's big in team real estate world. We talk about traction a lot. Then yes, find somebody that complements you. You don't want somebody that does everything just like you. You want that person, whether it's an operating manager, an associate, an assistant, whatever you choose to call them. I call them a stage manager because I come from theater, and that's what a stage manager does, is they keep my ass in order. I'm not an organized person, so we need to have Jan is also not an organized person. If you've ever seen her desk, it's littered with sticky notes, like 500 sticky notes. Doesn't matter that she still has a computer. It's all on sticky notes. So we need somebody who can keep us organized. We need somebody who knows social media, because I don't do social media and Jan doesn't do social media. So we have specific needs for that first person that you hire, which should be an associate to help you keep your business moving. They don't necessarily need to be a licensed agent unless they're going to be writing contracts for you or showing property or something. But if that's what you need, it should be dependent on your needs. Then from there, you can start looking at bringing in buyer's agents if you are more comfortable being a listing agent, or if you prefer being a buyer's agent, then you can look at bringing in a listing agent, although you're probably going to have to hire a more experienced agent to be your listing agent. While if you're operating as a listing agent, then you can look at bringing in a newer agent to be a buyer's agent or a showing agent.
JC, what's the biggest mistake people make when they make their first hire?
Hiring too quickly.
Okay.
Yep. Just hiring the first person that comes along, or hiring your friend. Don't do that. Right? Do a long, drawn-out search be slow to hire, quick to fire. Right? And the first person you hire will not work out. You're going to make mistakes, they're going to make mistakes.
No,
But
first 10.
First 10. But, it's a curve, it's a learning curve for you to figure out what it actually is that you need. That's why I'm saying don't hire a friend, because that will ruin that friendship.
Have either of you two, when you hired somebody, used any kind of personality profile
Yes, Keller Williams has one called a KPA, which I have used in the past. It's a very, very in-depth. They have to take a 45-minute test, then it takes about 4 hours to go through the entire KPA with the person in order to, help place them. It's a great tool. It's a great tool. Sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. It depends on I don't use it when we're hiring agents. But when we're hiring support staff, I use it.
Awesome.
Most of my agents, and there is turnover, you can teach them everything you know, and then they sell their first luxury home and off they go. And that broke my heart the first 2 or 4 times that happened, one by themselves and one as a group of 5, while I was away on my 50th birthday walking into my massage in Napa Valley, no less. But anyway, you've learned that just like the restaurant industry and other industries, there's a lot of turnover in real estate. Some are in a different firm every 6 months to a year. Don't know how or why, but it is what it is. You realize that no matter if you do those tests or not, which are great. When I went to Dean Witter at the time, way back when, I had to take a psychology test. I had to take a math test and a psych val, and it was wild, and it was just weird and unusual, but thank God I got through it. I must have lied through my teeth, I don't know. But anyway, no, it worked out well. But for me personally, when I'm meeting with people, and we're boutique-y and we've stayed small, and I carry my firm about 80%, and I've stayed small. Why am I not huge and blown up yet? We're huge in numbers, and we're blown up on social media, and we're very proud of what we do. But I strategically stayed, me and my small team, on purpose. And like he said, you cannot show a house, talk real estate, let someone in a home, negotiate numbers, even talk about the price of a house or the square footage if you're not a licensed realtor. However, on your team, you can have a marketing director who will never do a licensed real estate job and never show a home. You can have a director of operations. I'm lucky. Tori's been with me for years. She was an intern from College of Charleston, which I get many from there. It's a great resource. I've had about 50 interns in the last 7 years. Literally 22. But anyway, so Tori was an intern. She was in a sorority. She was doing well in college. She was finishing college. She was also taking her real estate schooling. She passed real estate while finishing college. She got her real estate license. She sold a property. She then graduated. She then got married to her childhood sweetheart at the Citadel on King Street. It was beautiful. They then bought their first house. She sold another property, and then she got a salary, nice cushion job with me as my director of operations, and still sells property. And the girl is doing well, and she's in her early 20s. She is tenacious. She is smart. She's going for what she wants. Anyone can do that at any point in their life, whether you're 16, 66, or 96. And the best part of this job is the fact that, well, yeah, I can retire tomorrow, and I can retire in a month or 2 or next year. I don't ever want to retire because I truly love doing what I do. I truly love making money, and I want to continue to. And also, we can sell houses until we're 100 years old. And isn't that the greatest part? There's no judging there. In fact, the older you are, the more seasoned you are, the more they trust you.
Jan is never going to retire, for those of you who know it.
I hope she doesn't, because I love her.
People ask me, oh, Jan's going to retire soon now, right? I'm like,
What is your next question, so I don't take over?
Okay, now the next question. I think that's what I'm hearing. By the way, sometimes I like to put a parentheses around it and give my feedback because it can help. I think what I'm hearing is you're passionate about what you do. You both are, but you found a passion in what you do, and I think that's the most important because so many people. Look, I hear it every day. You guys hear it every day. So many people look at this industry as a drudgery. Oh, I gotta do this and I gotta do that, and the seller's being a jerk, and whatever it is. If you can take this to heart and just find the passion, it absolutely conveys. My passion is I'm nerdy. That's why I love the numbers. I'm a total nerd with numbers, and I'm kind of happy with that, and I enjoy it, and I think it comes through to some buyers, right? And they're like, I get that a lot. Wow, that presentation was really cool. No one's ever done it before. And I'm like, yes, great. That was dirty. But whatever your passion is, if you find it and tap into it, it conveys and deepens the relationship. I think that's the key to making this a career. This is my final question for you guys. And of course I get a phone call right now because I can't read it. I have so many questions, but I'm gonna ask one more and then I wanna open it up. But before I ask my last question and open it up to questions that everyone here might have, please have one more round of coffee, food. You're not gonna disrupt anything, so please do. Here's my next question, and you mentioned it early on, AI. What's on the cutting edge, the trends that you think are gonna influence real estate that we need to be aware of and start adopting to be on the front lines, if any? Or maybe we just keep doing what we do, but if you see any trends, things that are coming, changes, or even a market change that you're like, be prepared for this, because every market's different. But I specifically don't really want to focus on market changes because we all adapt to those. But really, what's on the cutting edge that's coming that we should be looking at, adopting, and helping our business?
AI.
Okay.
I went to Inman in New York. Did anybody else go to the conference in New York? Okay, so at Inman they had a really great conference this past year, and someone came out that knows all about AI. In fact, he worked at the White House. He only focuses on artificial intelligence. He's telling us some really crazy things, like a child that could never hear, but they used some kind of AI mechanical situation where all of a sudden the child was able to hear something and then think something. And the thought that was in his brain, because he also couldn't speak, the thought that was in his brain actually came out of his mouth almost perfectly.
Yeah.
It was so crazy. We all know that it's real because we're hearing it, seeing it. You know what I can't stand? When you look at Instagram and you're seeing all these amazing, beautiful places that don't exist. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to Switzerland and I'm going to go to that hotel and that's a perfect spot and everything is just like a postcard. Doesn't exist. It's really sad and it's a shame. Because it's one thing when we have little girls and boys looking at magazine covers years ago and we're like, oh, no one can compete with that. And runway models, when I was a publicist, I used to run Bryant Park runway shows, and no one can compete with like these skinny, beautiful, tall models wearing these wild clothes that no one would ever wear on the street, right? Because they're just trying to get press. And you're worried about that. And now I've got a 12-year-old, 4 kids, 3 are out, 12-year-old at home, who loves TikTok. Oh, it's so bittersweet. And it's parental controlled, but what she sees every day is fake. There's beauty tips, and there's constantly women showing them how they look in their cute outfits and how their hair and makeup should be, and that's great if that's what you want to do with your life 24/7. Good for you on TikTok. But my child is looking at that and saying, that's reality, and I gotta look like her, I've gotta wear makeup like her. My 12-year-old was caught putting on tanning lotion for self-tanner because that's what all the girls do on social media now. That's what all of her friends do in 6th grade. I'm like, yeah, no. My daughter thinks she should look 16 when she's 12.
Yeah.
Technology is bittersweet. That's just with TikTok and filters and fakeness, okay? Now you've got AI. AI's coming in hot in the real estate market. AI emails me on a regular basis as an owner of a real estate firm, telling me that I should let go of my director of operations. Tori had to leave to open a house for us at Beresford Hall, sorry. Tori will never be let go and use artificial intelligence to do everything on the download to save me a lot of money. Because she, the person here with me that I'm connecting with, that I'm communicating with, that's not fake, she is important for 2 reasons. I'd rather pay her much more money because we have a human connection and my clients have a human connection. And AI, anyone that thinks they're gonna replace your staffers or your agents or anyone else with them down the road, which there will be AI realtors out there, believe it or not, that's what they're looking at to do. They're in no competition with us. No. The foolish buyers and sellers that want to use a Redfin or an AI down the road, good luck getting to the closing table. You've got to go and show the properties. You've got to discuss the properties. How did it look? How did it smell? How did it feel? Is this the right location? Is it the right bones? Did you pick up on mold? Was the encapsulation done right? Is there wavy floors in the kitchen? Are the ceilings falling down? Are you seeing leaks? They can't do that for you, okay? Only you, a human, can do that with them. Only you, the human, can set up the inspections, the CL100s, and bring it to the closing table with the attorneys and the lenders and check in on things. And when the emotions get hot, like I mentioned earlier, only you can be the person, the human, the therapist, agent to agent, buyer to seller, to get through and make sure everyone is happy and gets that closing table. Only you can do that. So don't be worried about it. It's silliness, but it is aggressive and it's coming in hot. They want to do your bookkeeping, they want to do your assisting, they want to do your telephone system, and they want to take over. What's really sad is I went into Michael's, the craft shop, the other day, and 3 of the ladies that worked there for years are no longer there because there's now 3 big, huge MacBook screens, or whatever you want to call them, and they're touch screens to check yourselves out. That started a long time ago at Publix and at CVS, and it's helpful, fast lane, but it's ridiculous, and we need to slow it down. In fact, I'm actually going to go to DC and work on this. No joke, I'm going to do this. And I'm going to fight against the technology coming in so hot and heavy, because we lost middle-class America as prices inflated. My mother cannot sell her home on Long Island, New York, because even though that door knocker at Cash will buy it as is, $900,000, move out tomorrow, where is she going to move? She can't afford another home like this. She can't move. She's stuck there forever. If you do sell, you go into an apartment, you might be there forever. My kids that are in college that are about to graduate, and you probably have this too, where are they going to go live? They can't afford these rents. They can't afford these mortgages. We need to slow down technology, work on the inflation, cut it out. Everyone can still do well, but we need to bring middle-class America back, and AI won't be helping with that. So we need to fight for that, and I'm going to start petitioning it, and I hope you'll all sign up when you see it on my social media platforms.
Do you guys remember when we used to have to follow directions written by agents on the listing in order to get to where we were going to show a house? You remember when our phones started having maps? Yeah. Google Maps or Apple Maps. How much easier that made things? That's basically what AI is. AI is basically maps for you. And that's kind of the future of it. You're right. It will never replace an agent. But I can use AI in order to answer some easy questions that somebody might ask on our website. That's pretty handy, instead of having to have our admin constantly monitoring the website. It leaves her open to do more things. I've used ChatGPT. I've played around with it in order to write listing descriptions. It's not great. You have to go back in and check everything, but it might give you some ideas to start with, which is nice. It might get that ball rolling when you're tired and you're tired of writing listing description after listing description. Just give me something to bounce off of. The best thing that I have seen from AI so far, and this is coming from Zillow. I didn't go to Inman, but I did go to Zillow Unlocked in the fall. And the amount of metrics and data that they can go through and distill for you or for your team, that's what I see AI as being beneficial about, is filling in the gaps in your information so you can go, yes, we know that the trends are this and this and this and this, because AI has gone through and sifted through all that data and let us know. Yeah, there are companies out there, Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com, that are using AI, but it's in no way attempting to take the place of a realtor, because they know that the most important thing that you can do as a realtor is get face-to-face with a client, because that's how you build trust. Right? That's what we're all looking for, is that 5 to 10 minutes to talk face-to-face with the client. Well, AI has no face, and it never will have a face. I mean, it'll look a little weird, and it might have 6 hands or something, but, you know, it's just not going to replace the real human experience, because AI has no wisdom, it has no empathy or sympathy, and it's not approachable. in a way that a human is, and it takes all three of those things to build trust. So no, it's not going to replace it, but what we can do is use it to make ourselves more efficient and more knowledgeable agents, and that's for the benefit of our clients. So I don't have a problem with AI. I'm sorry.
I love AI when it comes to, I can tell it right now. Hey Siri, take me to 150 Royal Assembly Drive in Charleston. Boom, done. No one reads those directions anymore. He's absolutely right. In fact, I don't know if any of you here, I remember when my grandmother had ERA in our yard in New York when I was a little girl, and I was like, look at that businesswoman in her pearls putting a sign in the yard. Maybe that inspired me to love real estate. But I remember all of that. But I also remember she came there with like a little Reader's Digest book, and that's where all the for sale listings were. And you have to use a magnifying glass and find the agent, and there were no cell phones, right? And then you had to find the phone number, and then you'd have to call and hope that you got in touch with them, because if they're not home, which they're out showing houses, it's really hard to get in touch with the agent. Could you imagine how difficult it was back then in the 80s to sell a property? Awful.
Jan and I were at a James Shaw thing last week, and we were the only ones who, I started in 1985 in New Jersey, and birthday out of New Jersey, and we had a book with a little, well, she said they didn't have photos when she started, but we had one black and white photo with little things that said 2BR, 1FP, I mean, you had to figure that out, you had to pick up the key. So, but your mom and I were the only ones that did that. Remember those?
That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, it was like a little Reader's Digest, black and white, little fine print, learn the codes, hope to get in touch with them, and then figure out how and when you're going to meet up to get the key. Oh my gosh, we are so blessed not to do that. So I love it for that reason, but I don't love that humans are losing their jobs. I don't like that middle class America is going away, and we need to bring it back. So I am going to become a lobbyist in that. And so while I will be a little contradicting the fact that there's certain levels of technology that's great, there's a lot of technology that is not great, and we need to slow that down before we all become robotic, because I don't want my great-grandchildren walking around with a chip. Like literally, that can happen. Anyway, next.
No, that's good. So, again, to kind of summarize what I heard was use the tools that are coming, AI, to, if it helps create a quicker social media post about a listing or a quicker whatever, use it as a tool that we need to use, but be the advisor. And maybe AI allows us to do our jobs better and go deeper in relationships. Again, be the advisor, like you were saying, like both of you were saying. I like that. We're using AI in underwriting now. It's amazing what it can do. You can't underwrite a full file, but it can really help, and it makes it quicker. Okay, we have 10 more minutes. And what I'd like to do is just open it up. Any questions that you have for Rachel or JC? And then we have a drawing at the end, remember.
A quick question. What do you guys like to do to manage your taxes, your books, your expenses, finances, that kind of thing?
Oh my God, you're asking the wrong person. I'm a hot mess.
You
No.
had a good accountant?
Yeah, exactly. So I have the best CPA ever. Has QuickBooks.
Well, I just hear people talk about apps and whatnot that you can load this stuff in on the fly. As you
Oh, there are so many. There are a dime a dozen. You can go in and use any kind of QuickBooks app. There's commercials for them all the time. I'm not thinking of their names. You'll think of their names in a second. But I have a great CPA, and Tori, they have access to my QuickBooks. All of my bank accounts, all of my commission flow, all my marketing dollars, events, every penny that comes in and comes out, accounts receivable, accounts payable, everything goes through QuickBooks. They see everything, and they monthly categorize them. And if you put your spreadsheet together where you have your commissions in, your expenses out, events, a car lease, gasoline, a home office if it's the right square footage, or your office that you're leasing. If you have everything categorized, it's very easy for them to put it in that system, and then you allow your CPA, whether it's quarterly or annually. If you're paying yourself and you're paying yourself through your corporation, you'll save a lot of tax dollars, and you can file annually. You can do annually or quarterly. If you're 1099, I would suggest that you do quarterly 1099. I never did quarterly 1099, so I got really, boom, at the end of the year. That was a fun number to see. But yeah, you just look out for that. So I'm going to give this to you because you may know more technology devices that do it, but we just put everything through QuickBooks, and we do bookkeeping, personal, human, doing bookkeeping, and that's it. No more paper receipts.
Well, the one subject Jim mentioned in passing, as far as I'm at a place where I've plateaued and I'm looking to figure out how I can, expand my business at this point. So my office looks like Jan's, pretty disorganized, and I'm here. I was hoping to really figure out a way to streamline my operations, become a little bit more organized, thus spend more of my time generating business.
Okay,
As
good.
far as back office operations.
You need to hire someone. You need to hire someone that's super organized, that you absolutely trust, that you have good chemistry with. And you need to tell them exactly for the first month or two that you're together every single day, exactly how you like to run yourself, exactly how you want your business to be run, because there are two different entities.
What if you can't afford to make that mistake 10 times before you sign up?
You ready for this?
Sure.
Charleston University's here. I have interns from Clemson, College of Charleston, and other universities that come to me. Citadel. And you can get a free intern or a paid intern. You can get multiple interns. Those interns get college credits, and you can tell them, look at me. I'm this person that's out there succeeding, and I am a squirrel like Rachel and others, and I'm going to go buy and sell all day long, and I'm going to have lunch and get on my boat in between. But I need you here making sure that I keep all the records clear. First of all, we use .loop. Does anyone use .loop? Okay. I started out with zip forms and the other, what's it called, platforms, DocuSign, and then fill in the little text boxes, awfulness. Then I went to SkySlope because Sotheby's has
That's where we are
SkySlope.
now. What I'm
It was awful.
envisioning is
.loop.
a nerd like Jen with a real estate license.
Okay, cool.
They're out there.
Yeah. But I mean, do you know the?
Yeah, I'm gonna hand this over.
Where they hide?
No. You can do this, and you can do it with internships or a low salary, but you can also do it with using .loop systems and keep all of your transactions and paperwork there. You all know that you need to keep your paperwork between 5 and 10 years, hard and on your desktop in a file and in a file box, right? So you do that, and you have it through .loop or SkySlope, and you keep yourself very organized with your transactions, because one day if you get audited, you're going to need those. If you find, by the way, here's a trick. If you lose them, like I lost one or two, your closing attorneys, they still have them, and you can just ask them, can I have the full file, and they'll give you a copy.
Redundancy.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
the interns, can they be unpaid interns?
Yes, Stephanie, were you an unpaid intern for me? Yeah. And now
Well,
are
so
you a
that's-
licensed real
that's-
estate
that's-
agent?
I thought I was being sarcastic. That's an
No. Free intern. All of my interns were free interns because they got college credits, were accredited. And Stephanie was, and now she's a licensed real estate agent selling real estate because she enjoyed learning there and growing and being part of the team. So you can have interns, and they can grow with you, which is great.
Yeah, I like that.
And there are plenty of people who like to do real estate or who are interested in real estate, but they don't like talking to people, right? They are introverts. They are not extroverts, or they are severe introverts. So I wouldn't. You can find somebody out there, and even if it starts with somebody who is not licensed, you can work on developing and getting them licensed. And if you decide not to go the intern route, I would go with a low salary or an hourly wage to start with bonuses depending on
A
production.
bonus. I really like the sound of pro bono intern.
Just sometimes you get what you pay for. They're not all as good as this one over here. Okay, so I've been there and done that. As far as just in the meantime, tracking your expenses, shop for a credit card with a bank where banks now use AI. My credit card, it already divides everything out by category using the AI.
Okay.
I just hand my annual credit card statement to my accountant, and I'm like, that was my expenses for the year.
Got it.
And it's super clean and it's super simple and it saves me all of my fears as long as I know that that's the card that I'm putting all of my business expenses on.
Yeah, I just wanna expedite, so I can spend more time generating business, right? As opposed to constantly keeping track of it, keeping the card, the train on the tracks, that kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, you sound like you're at the point where you need to look at bringing somebody else in, honestly.
Greed. I don't like the word greed. How did I get so successful? I'm not greedy. I bought $900 pool equipment for a house I didn't have to. It didn't even say in the contract it had to stay there, but that man, William Pelusi, that made $4 million. I spent $980 as a housewarming gift because the divorcee couple, the wife decided to take the pool equipment out and he was really sad about it. I made a really nice commission I gave back by giving him a really nice gift and making him happy there. Same thing comes with at your office. If you're going to be a rock star and make a lot of money, be willing to spend a decent amount of money hiring the right people to help you perform better. If you just think, I'm making all this money and I'm really busy, but I want to keep it all to myself, good luck with that. You're going to have to hire a good CPA. You're going to have to get someone in your office that you trust, or you're going to have to get some machinery. I love that. My credit card also does that, but I'm a commingler. We're not allowed to commingle. I don't commingle their money, but I commingle my own. I gotta stop. I gotta cut up my personal credit card business credit card. Because every time I'm out, wherever I am, I'm just tapping my phone and my card, and they're like, Rachel, that's a personal expense. Stop screwing me up. Keep that on the business side. So I commingle all the time, and my books and records are a hot mess. I'm not kidding. But they keep it all in line with QuickBooks and a great CPA. Again, you can get a free intern. You can get someone that's by hourly rate, which is a great idea. But also, here's a cool thing. How about, I'm going to hire you on, this is what I produced in the last 12 to 18 months. If you help me, I'm going to hire you on and give you 5% or 1% or 2% of my earnings for everything that I close. So you may make nothing for 4 months. You may make $5,000 on month 5, but you've got to be my right hand.
Yeah, that's a great way to do it.
Right.
Combination of those as well.
Sure. Yeah, there's a lot of avenues to pursue.
But then it says, this is one of the things I personally see people make a mistake when they do their first hire, is they're like, I hired someone, okay, cool. No, you gotta do more of what you do to bring in more business, is the key.
And I would honest, for you, read traction.
Yeah, I am absolutely going to. I've got that here. But an introverted licensed real estate agent is probably.
Well, at least you know what you're looking
At least
for.
you know what you're
That's
looking for.
a start, is knowing what you're looking for.
Awesome. Before we give it up for Rachel and JC, thank you so much for doing this. I'm gonna wrap it up and we're gonna do the giveaway as well. Guys, give me 1 minute to wrap it up. I have two closing thoughts. One is, again, what I said at the beginning, Rick and I cannot afford to keep sponsoring these events, and I hope you found it useful and worthwhile, unless you help us grow our businesses, right? If we close together, I guarantee we're gonna close smoothly and get happy clients in closing who are ready to refer more buyers and sellers your way, because that's what we do. And look, we all want to plan for retirement one day. Sit down and plan something with Rick. And we also have clients who are coming into town like, wow, my financial planner's up in Connecticut, and I don't know, maybe I should have someone here. Have them sit down and talk to Rick, because it's worth their time. And you're providing a deeper, more well-rounded relationship by making that introduction as well. So please do that and honor what we've done as well to try and give back to you and build your business. That's number one. Number two is, what I always find is the difficulty with these types of events, for me, because I'm like Rachel, I'm like, squirrel, oh, shiny object. I like shiny objects, that's awesome.
Proud of it, very proud of it.
Yeah, I get tired of it though, because it's like I have 10 ideas, let's go implement 10. What I ask is, take one idea that you wrote down and implement the hell out of one idea. Because I guarantee if you do that and really own that one idea and implement it, at the end of 2025, you'll look back and be like, yeah, I think the Harbor Club is worth it, man. I took it to the next level. And that's what I want for everyone here. So not 10, just one.